everyone, today we will start number lecture 13, typology of nouns, adjectives in Kazakh, Russian and the English languages. Here is the plan of our lecture: typology of the nouns, typology of adjectives. Typology of the noun. So the English and Russian belong to the same language family, Indo-European. Their morphological system differ greatly due to the specific historical development. Thus, in English, Thus, the English language is a majority of the world belong to the notional part of speech, characterized by the morpheme formation, in which the root morpheme can be used as a stem and is an independent word. The dialectical unity of the grammatical meaning and the grammatical form is called the grammatical category. Any grammatical meaning is expressed by certain grammatical form. Ways of expressing grammatical meaning are different. One and the same grammatical meaning may be expressed by different grammatical forms and vice versa. One and the same grammatical form may denote different grammatical meanings. For example, book, children, feet, boy, boys, and speaks. As we know, the grammatical category is one of the most morphological features characterizing the given part of speech. Here we are going to speak of typological characteristics of the nominal, the grammatical categories of the noun and the adjectives in modern English and Russian. The 5 properties that are used as a criteria of distinguishing part of speech serve as the base of comparison. The lexicogrammatical meaning of noun in both languages are similar. The variety of lexicogrammatical morphemes is much greater in the Russian noun. A peculiarity of Russian is the abundance of suffix of subjective appraisal, such as bratец, билетик, карманчик, дедушка, доченька, and so on. Booklet in English, we had the suffix. In both languages, we find the categories of case and number, but their distinction, especially those of the category of case, differ greatly in the two languages. A Russian case contains 6 member cases. In English, the singular number, common case, grammy is not marked. In Russian, any grammy can be marked, such as рука, окно. The productive positive number and the case morphemes are standard in English as ss, and the non-standard in Russian as столы, столов, стулья, стульев, книги, книг. Speech part number and the case are sometimes expressed by separate morphemes in English, for example, children's, while in Russian they are inseparable. The case morpheme s has a certain freedom of distribution not observed in any case form of the Russian language. Owing in narrows of the genitive case, only other case in common case, and especially wide. In fact, the existence of its mean almost equal that of all the 6 cases of Russian nouns. Here is a necessity of specification of preposition, and the great importance of preposition as a characteristic features of English should be mentioned. The of phrase in English can in fact replace the genitive case. The differences between them is mostly stylistic. There is nothing similar in Russian. Russian nouns form into 3 gender subclasses, which is alien in English. In both languages, noun can be divided into countable and uncountable. Uncountable in the compared languages have oblique number meaning, so the analogy in form combinability with countables. But in Russian, there is always correlation between form in combinability. For example, часы стали, сани едут, комитет заседает, США осуждают, which is not the case in English. For instance, the police are, phonetics is, the family is or are, the people is or are. The number of Russian nouns having no case opposite is small. They are comparatively recent, borrowing like пальто, дело, такси, кенгуру. But in English, the majority of nouns had no case opposites. In both languages, the function of different case grammaries are different. In Russian, only of nominative case grammary can be the subject. Only in accusative case can be a direct object. Only in nominative or an instrumental case, grammar is used as predicative. In English, possessive case grammars are used exclusive as attributes. It is possible to say that common case grammars fulfill the function of almost any part of the sentence. Typology of adjectives. The lexicogrammatical meaning are essentially the same. The Russian adjectives has a greater variety of steam-building affixes than the English adjectives. The so-called suffix of subjunctive appraisal, as in длинненький, длиннющий, and длинноватый, are found in Russian. They are alien to the English adjectives, with the exception in the suffix ish, like reddish, красноватый, foolish, глуповатый. Russian adjectives have the categories of number, for example, длинный, длинные, gender, длинный, длинная, длинную, case, длинный, длинного, длинному, but in English adjectives no longer possess these categories. The only category the English and Russian adjectives have in common in this category of the degrees comparison. In both languages, the category is represented in three opposites, but there are some distinctions. The possessive degrees is marked in English, whereas it's marked in Russian. Compare red, красный. In Russian language, every full adjective is marked. It shows by its form that it is adjectives, but in English, the form of the possessive degrees of the adjective doesn't show to what part of speech the word belongs. Most qualitative adjectives in Russian have short forms, for example, умный, умен, молодой, молод. There is nothing similar in English. The proportion of relative adjectives is much greater in Russian. English common case noun often render the meaning of Russian relative adjectives. For instance, школьная учительница, school teacher, домашние расходы, household expenses, настольная лампа, a table lamp. Among the relative adjectives of the Russian language, there is a group of possessive adjectives such as мамин, отцов, which have no English correspondence equivalents. The combinability of the adjectives is to some extent similar in two languages. The so-called short adjectives and the synthetic comparative of Russian adjectives have no right-hand combinability with nouns. For example, this is better translation. Этот перевод лучше. Нельзя сказать лучше перевод. A peculiar features of the combinability of the English adjectives is a right-hand connection with the word one. For example, a good one, a better one, the best one. In conclusion, in both languages, the typical function of the adjectives in the sentence are those of attribute or predicative, but Russian short adjectives and the synthetic comparativeness are seldom used as attributes. English doesn't have this subclass of adjectives, but certain individual adjectives are very rarely used as attributes. It's impossible to say a glad girl, but we can say a little girl. The lecture is over. See you soon.